Listening to the Morning Punch-In Show with RB and Jae, live and direct from more cities than an Instagram model's bio. Get ready for some boxing talk on the clock. Let's face it, you're not working and somebody's got to pay for the Wi-Fi.
Hart of Philadelphia, Jesse Hart. Let me properly introduce. Good morning, everybody. It is RB and Jae. This is the Morning Punch-In Show, the most unpredictable, unscripted, but always real morning boxing talk show in the game. Today is Monday, so on the hotline blink today is the Heart of Philadelphia, Jesse Hart. Let me properly introduce my partner in crime, creator and founder of BadCulture.net, contributor for Black Sports Online, Jay LeBeouf. What's good, Jay? Good morning.
Most unpredictable and most technically issued show some mornings across the land. My bad, y'all. A little slow on the technical issues. But good morning and happy Monday. It's so good to be back with everybody this week. We had a full weekend of boxing. We'll get into it later on in the show. No hot question today. It's a lot of hot topics out there, but more than likely we'll talk about them during this show. So back to you, RB.
All right. We want to play some Know It or Blow It today, brought to you by theboxinginsider.com. Today's prize is we still have that boxing glove signed by Mike Tyson. If you want it, 718-508-9852. Press 1 so that we see you light up in the switchboard. That's how we know that you want to play Know It or Blow It. We're going to have some Jake's Take today. Again, we're going to have Jesse Hart calling in. Tremendous fight that he was in with Gilberto Ramirez on Friday night from Tucson. Got a lot of, in case you missed it, Jay's going to fill us in on that. And why don't we take a quick break, Jay, and come back and we're going to recap this past weekend's fight.
Yes, ma'am.
For all the latest news, interviews, and boxing schedules, visit BoxingInsider.com, providing readers with everything from the latest fight schedules to interviews with your favorite boxers. BoxingInsider.com has you covered from top to bottom. BoxingInsider.com is looking for new writers. Think you have what it takes to join the team? Submit your articles to our team at info@BoxingInsider.com. Visit BoxingInsider.com today, the only boxing website where you become the fifth man in the corner.
BoxingInsider.com. Make sure you pay them a little visit. They are also the ones bringing you the Know It or Blow It segment, which you can win the signed boxing glove by Mike Tyson. Let's start with recapping some fights from this past weekend. There were so many of them. Let's go to Friday night, Jay. Let's go to Tucson, Arizona on ESPN. Gilberto Ramirez outpointed a very game Jesse Hart and retained his super middleweight title. It was a hard-hitting slugfest. I think everyone was really surprised on how this fight went down. My worry and other people's worry was that we were going to get a boring fight. I don't know if we've ever seen Zurdo in, a really action-packed fight. I don't know if we've seen Jesse Hart have to step up the way he did and face such adversity, right? So anyway, it was just a hard-hitting slugfest. Ramirez dropped Hart in the second round. I really feel like that made the huge difference in the fight. They were just really going at it. We saw a lot of body work. We saw them both hurt several times throughout the fight. Gilberto ended up with the unanimous decision victory. How'd you see it, Jay?
I saw it the exact same way. Jesse Hart was so game. This was a great stylistic matchup because they just brought out that battle cat in each other. They went hard, getting up off the canvas, body work up top, walking down, cutting the ring off. It really was a cool fight. And I just liked how competitive it was. I'm glad it wasn't just a chess match. There was some good action in there from both of the gentlemen.
Yeah. After the fight, Jesse Hart remained so graceful, and he just said he's a world champ. I learned from this. And he didn't make any excuses, and the crowd went wild. It goes to show you that the fans really do appreciate that. And I don't think, he really lost anything in that fight. I think it's going to make him better. I think he gained the respect of the fans. When we went back to the fight hotel, there was Filipinos and Mexicans and all different types of people in the hotel stopping him, asking him for photos, asking him for autographs. I think just remaining graceful in defeat really did a lot for him, and he did show a lot of heart. And at the end of the day, that's who the fans want to see, the guy who's going to get in there and lay it all out on the line. Not to say Gilberto Ramirez didn't do that, because he certainly did, but he's going to move on to bigger and better things as well.
Right. Either way, obviously you want to get the win in the title fight without a question, but at the same time, this fight did a lot for Jesse Hart, in my humble opinion. It was on a national channel. He fought well. He lost a title fight. He didn't lose to some guy he was supposed to lose to, and he looked good. You know, he still looked good doing it. Showed a lot of heart and a lot of game, and I appreciated that from him. On the other side, Gilberto Ramirez really surprised me. Like you said, he's known to be in very exciting fights. So to see him battling back and forth and stalking and making the most of his opportunity on TV was a really good thing. This fight did more for him than fighting on pay-per-view.
Seriously. We'll talk about the ESPN series after this a little bit, but let's go to the main event, Oscar Valdez versus Genesis Cervania. Now, a lot of people over here did not know who Cervania was. Oh, who's this Filipino? He's undefeated. Oh, this is going to be a layup for Oscar Valdez. You know, just because you've never heard of the guy over here, you know, doesn't mean he's a bum or a layup. You should have done a little research and looked into this guy, because when the fight was made, I said, woo, that's going to be a good fight. And boy, was it a good fight. Oscar Valdez gets off the floor, overcomes Vanya, retained his featherweight title. I mean, Jay, this fight was such drama. They both hit the deck. It was toe-to-toe. The 12th round was, you know, I thought they were both going to knock each other out in the 12th round. Cervania wants to do it again. He wants a rematch. He thought it was good enough to warrant one. Bob Arum, after the fight, says that he wants Oscar Valdez to fight Carl Frampton next.
That fight was
Your
so
thoughts
great.
On the fight?
That fight was fantastic. It was so action-filled. It was good to see Oscar Valdez in a fight where he had to show some grit and bite down and really battle back. He showed he had a good chin, you know, good rock body. He was moving well. We did see some technical flaws in how he fought, but I don't know. I won't even say they're flaws. I'll just say that the style of his opponent, Genesis, made him adjust in ways that he probably hasn't had to before while taking some hard punches. This will probably be one of those fights that he learned the most about himself in, because it looks so different than everything.
Absolutely.
So
after the fight, Manny Robles spoke to the media, to Dan Rafael and everyone, and he was a little upset with Oscar. He's like, you know, I got to tug him by the ear, get him back in the gym. He let his guard down. You know, he just fought too emotionally. You know, the corner wasn't happy, you know, and even his manager's like, man, that was scary for a minute there. Oscar took some licks, but he showed that he has a chin. He's got a lot of heart, a lot of will. He could take it, and he's an exciting TV fighter, especially in his division. Let's compare him to Jojo Diaz.
Right.
You know, I like Jojo. He's very crafty. He's a really good boxer. But, man, Valdez is just, he's made for TV.
Yeah, definitely more fan-friendly style, we'll say. Jojo Diaz has all the things we want in the pro column, but he just hasn't had that fight yet that made fans go, ooh, that boy is a killer. And I don't know what that fight might be for him, or if that'll ever be. Maybe he will be known as a fighter who outpoints. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But, yeah, I enjoyed Valdez's performance in this fight a lot.
Well, Frampton is definitely a tall order. Yeah, Frampton is definitely a tall order for Valdez. But that's what Bob Arum was saying. And he says, you know, maybe it could happen in Vegas. You know, I don't think Frampton would come to Tucson. But that's what they're looking at. So, wow, big things on the rise. So far, top-ranked ESPN cards have been pretty decent. There was one stinker that had a pretty good undercard. What was that? The Lomachenko undercard, maybe? Or no, the Crawford undercard wasn't all that great. but the main events have all delivered, and I think that one's going to see really good high ratings. Let's go to Saturday night, Jay, from San Antonio. I'm going to let you recap this with the World Boxing Super Series fights.
Oh, so we're now getting to the nitty-gritty with the cruiserweights in the World Boxing Super Series. The fight was, I found it by other means that we do not support here on the Morning Punch-In show. It was open, and I couldn't look away. My bad. So I saw the fight. I say all that to say I saw the damn fight. And, wow, Dorticos put Kadrashov, I think that's how you say his name, in hell with that knockout. Good grief. If you haven't been watching these cruiserweight fights on the World Boxing Super Series, these have been some good fights. Usyk's fight was great. This fight was great. I can't wait to see Murat Gassiev fight now. This tournament is really going down, and if you're not watching these fights, you should. But Dorticos delivered a hell of a knockout. His boy Rigondeaux was ringside to see him do it. It was if you haven't seen this knockout, go find it on Twitter so you could see it. I'll tweet it later on after the show. But that's my take on that fight. That series is great. I'm standing by my pick of okay, I won't say my pick who I think will win it all yet.
Okay. Also on that card from San Antonio, former world champion Nonito Donaire returned, and he won a unanimous decision over Mexico's Ruben Garcia Hernandez. Did you happen to see Nonito Donaire's return?
I did. It was a good fight to get the rust off, get back into it. I mean, nothing to go rah-rah for, but it was a good performance, so congratulations for him.
All right. Saturday, we also had Parker versus Fury, Jay.
Oh, God. That was Drek. Who likes to say that all the time? That was, man, I woke up from a nap from that, and I was so upset that I did. That was a horrible fight. It was so boring. They just kind of plodded around, and the decision was horrible. The scores were horrible. They were all over the place. 118, 110 must be like the new 30. Because that is like the score everywhere now, and it's always on the wrong side. I don't know what's going on.
Well, we're gonna talk more about judging the judges still with Jake's take when we bring him on in a little bit. Let's finish up Saturday night on HBO from Inglewood. I know you were there live, Jay. As Jorge Linares, he retained his WBA, WBC Diamond, and Ring Magazine lightweight titles with a split decision victory against Luke Campbell.
What a fight! What a fight! That young Luke Campbell, again, people weren't familiar with him like Oscar Valdez's opponent. And this kid came over with Eddie Hearn with Matchroom Boxing, and he put on a hell of a fight. That kid got some dog in him. There was no lay down in him. He was going toe-to-toe with Linares. He was getting shots to the body. Unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, he caught a big blow from Linares that put him on the canvas, and his eye was a horrible mess after that. But I want to see that kid again. That's a game kid. He's really young. He was an Olympian, and he was just really great. I really liked him. And Linares wants to move now. He wants that Mikey Garcia fight, but in that fight, we'll probably talk about it. I'll let you weigh in before I say what I think about that. But if you follow me on Twitter, you know.
Well, we'll talk more about the judging with Jake there, too. I was kind of in and out watching the fight. Guys, Friday night took the life out of me. People really don't understand mentally how hard it is working certain events and all. So I was in and out with the Linares fight. It's funny, actually, somebody retweeted me after the scores were read because my assessment of the fight was Jorge Linares is very handsome. I mean, that's as far as I was able to take it Saturday night. So anyway, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back with Jake's take.
RB.
When the mind is ready, the body prepares for war. So next time you engage in battle, protect your hands with the best. War Tape, the original branded tape. Order yours now at wartapebrand.com and see why the enemy will fear you. wartapebrand.com. We put hands on you. Champs Boxing Club and Fitness, bringing the city of Danbury a safe, clean, and professional boxing gym. Located on 128 East Liberty Street, Champs Boxing Club offers you more than 5 trainers who are all either current or former professional and amateur boxers. Look us up online at champsboxingclub.org for a full description on membership rates, discounts, and more about our facility. Also, check us out on social media at Champs Danbury. If you're ready to join, send us an email at cbcdanbury@gmail.com, and we'll get right back to you. Or swing by and visit. We look forward to you joining our team. Come see what all the buzz is all about here at Champs in Danbury, Connecticut. You're rocking with the Morning Punching Show with RB and Jae, and now it's time for Jake's Take.
Good shit this weekend.
Good morning,
Good morning, RB and Jae.
Hey.
What's going on? What's good? What's going on? Are you drinking a Tecate, Jake, this morning?
No, not this early. I'm not that Irish, but plenty to celebrate this weekend. Plenty of good reason to drink. So it was a relatively good weekend for boxing. I think a couple of hiccups, but for the most part, we got a lot of good boxing.
You got that right. So we want to continue with you to judge the judges. So this weekend, the Linares Campbell card. Apparently, there was a highlight on that card that you want to talk to us about, and definitely the Parker Fury judging.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the Parker Fury judging. I mean, what a strange fight that was. It's almost like we have to give up on Joseph Parker at this point, but they certainly did it in England. I mean, the theme that I liked from this weekend in Tucson, in England, and in L.A., in all of the fights, all of the visiting fighters were given a fair chance to win. And in England, we saw that with Joseph Parker. With their team successfully protested to get Terry O'Connor removed as referee. He wound up being one of the judges, and he was one of the 2 judges that had it 118-110 for Parker, which was ridiculous. I mean, at best, that fight was a draw. I'm no Fury fan, Huey Fury fan by any stretch of the imagination, but that fight was a draw, or maybe Fury should have won the fight. But Parker winning 118-110, that was absurd. But when stuff like that is argued, and I was surprised they actually had him removed. I always refer it, like using a baseball term, it's arguing balls and strikes. You don't necessarily expect to get the previous outcome changed, but they're definitely going to think harder about the next one that comes. So, but with that fight, I didn't understand the judging at all. It was completely baffling. Going over to LA. I'm sorry.
It was.
Yeah, going over to LA with Linares and Campbell, to say that fight was a split decision was very fair. I thought Linares won. I had Linares winning 115-112. To have that fight going back and forth is very fair. Luke Campbell, God bless him, the man fought his heart out. But my problem with the 115-113 score was how Victor Laughlin got there. He had Campbell winning every round from round 4 all the way to 11, and then scoring round 12 even. You know, you can nitpick a few of the rounds, but in my opinion, Linares cleanly won the 12th round to slam dunk the fight. If the fight was on the table, Linares won it in the championship round. I thought he won round 11 as well. So did the other 2 judges. And both of those judges had Linares winning. So the fact that Laughlin that he gave it to Campbell wasn't absurd, but again, it's the same with Don Trella having the fight a draw. How he got the fight to a draw is what makes it suspect. It's almost like he wanted Canelo to win, but he didn't quite want to give it away to him. And, he gave that 7th round to Canelo, which nobody agreed with. That was, Gennady's best round.
Nobody.
Yeah, to give the 10th round even, that's almost like saying you did not want to give Jorge Linares the fight. I have a real problem with that. I mean, it was such a good fight. Jorge Linares, I don't understand how this was his HBO debut. As RB said, I mean, that's the man that a lot of women, I think, would love to marry. I mean, he's, married already, but this is a guy.
He is a good-looking man. Yes, he is.
A very
during fight
man.
week, I was like, wow. Very
good-looking man, very charismatic, and the man can fight. He's always in an exciting fight. I can recall very few times where I did not enjoy Jorge Linares fighting. The reason why he was on TV, though, wasn't necessarily because of Golden Boy's use. It's because Eddie Hearn is starting to bring his fighters to HBO.
Exactly.
Eddie Hearn, Luke Campbell. That's why we saw that fight on HBO. So Golden Boy may think they got it like that, but if they did, Linares would have been on HBO a long time ago, regardless of how many times. So,
do you know Linares speaks 3 languages?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. There's nothing to not like about Jorge Linares. He can communicate literally in almost any language with you, including in the ring. I mean, Tito Trinidad didn't speak great English, but he spoke to you in the ring and with his charisma. And Linares has that same vibe. So, but for whatever reason, he hasn't been a favorite of, the U.S. networks. And I don't know, sometimes I think maybe it's conspiracy theory, but the judges sometimes, maybe they think like that. I believe judges do know why they are assigned to a particular fight, and the scorecard tends to reflect that. So if it's not corruption, then it's incompetence, and they all need to be retrained. And that's always the question. Why aren't these judges being properly trained?
I don't know if we're ever going to get the answer to that.
No,
right.
And it's an issue. I mean, look at what happened with the I don't mean to interrupt, but look what happened in the NFL this weekend. If you couldn't be inspired by that, I hate to play the race card, but I mean, I thought it was amazing that so many people were willing to stand up for a cause. But we don't get that in boxing. I mean, there's so much to correct, but just starting at the top, judges. We have a system in place. Judges are supposed to be trained through the Association of Boxing Commission. I've been to those seminars. They're a joke, but even they're still not being properly certified. If you put 5 judges in a room, yeah.
Why is that one like the one bastion of a workplace that hasn't been updated? Like, why isn't there a manual? Do you have to take a little certification test like the DMV so you can sit there and assess a man at beating another man or a woman's brains out, but you don't have to take no test, but you could drive a car? That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Exactly. When I took the certification course, you watched film, you used examples, and then you saw they were asked how to score the fight, and then they kind of explained why a certain round was scored a certain way. But then at the end, you did have to take a test. I've never known anybody to fail the test. So I don't know if it's graded or if it's just something you fill out, put your name on it, and here's your license. So it's not very hard to become a judge. Unfortunately, it's not very hard to become a boxer. There's a lot of things in boxing that just aren't very hard to become a part of. It's not hard to become a boxing writer. So that's the problem. There are just no standards. So it's, this has to change with judging. It's not necessarily driving fans away, but, I mean, it certainly doesn't help that we get this controversy. I don't like the idea that Canelo and Golovkin are going to fight again because they had, an inconclusive outcome. We should have a second fight because the first fight was so good, not because we need to know who's the better fighter between the two. And it's just tiring that the officials are always becoming part of the story. They don't need to be. They're not seen on TV for a good reason. They shouldn't be a part of the story at the end of the fight. Just score the damn fight and move on. If you're not going to speak to why your scorecard is a certain way, then get it right.
You got that right. So, Jake, the World Boxing Super Series, the Dorcas fight, it was pretty much criminal for it not to be televised. What's going on there?
It's disgusting. I don't like the way this whole series has been handled, to be honest. But my problem is they wanted to make every fight an event, and they also wanted for whatever network was interested in the series to purchase the entire series, that they were going to air all 8 events in the quarterfinals, all 4 semifinals, and both finals. If you're going to pitch it that way, then condense it a little better. You can't convince – I mean, Showtime has no reason to air – I mean, only 6 of the 8 events are going to be overseas, which means – and one of them is on a Friday. So that means you're airing boxing on 5 Saturday afternoons and 1 on a Friday afternoon on Showtime. I mean, that's a lot to ask of a cable network. You're only getting 2 out of 8 U.S. telecasts. Both U.S. fights should be televised. I will say that. Dorticos and Parker, it was supposed to be the fight of the year. It wasn't because it was only 2 rounds, but we damn sure got a leading contender for knockout of the year, which is what Dorticos seems to do every time he fights. And every network, they should have been, fighting over who was going to air that fight. But what the World Boxing Super Series could have done was pair this a little better. Maybe make it 4 events instead of 8, because none of these events are selling so far. And that's the sad part, because like you said, Jay, every fight has been really good. Usyk made a major statement knocking out Marco Huck. Talon Smith and Eric Stockland, that was a fantastic fight. And then Dorticos, I mean, he's arrived. He's a threat to any cruiserweight in the world. But none of these have been events. I mean, the Talon Smith fight was, that was embarrassing. If Eddie Hearn had that fight as a leading promoter, that would have been a major event. Forget, World Boxing Super Series branding. But the fact that it's just, with Dorticos and Kudrasov, Richard Schaefer was so passionate about bringing that to the United States. He wanted San Antonio to have that fight. And they kept saying this fight is going to be in the Alamo Dome, which is a massive arena. Nobody really knew until Friday that it was actually going to be at the Illusion Theater, which is a little tiny part of the Alamo Dome.
Right.
It only seats about 2,000 fans. It's like, so why did you bring it there? Who cares about bringing it to San Antonio if at most only 2,000 fans are going to see it? Add nobody on TV unless you watch it on stream, which, to sit on watch the fight on a stream on a Saturday night, especially when you have HBO boxing and a very good fight in Linares Campbell, it just, I don't get the thought process. They've seen the PBC fail. They've seen HBO kind of whittle down their boxing budget. Showtime is trying, but they're not necessarily always getting it right. The World Boxing Super Series had all the opportunity in the world to get this right. They pitched it as a big event, and so far it's a shame because they're actually underselling very good fights. Especially super middleweight needs that promotion because all of the matchups are very good, but we're not getting the big event factor because, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And that's a shame to all 16 participants.
All right. Jake, I wanted to touch on one more topic with you before we wrap up, since we're expecting Jesse Hart here in the next 4 minutes or so. A big announcement Saturday night with Danny Jacobs signing to Matchroom Boxing, and he also signed an exclusive deal with HBO. This is major, major news because he is the Al Heyman fighter. I still think that Al Heyman was still instrumental in making this deal. A lot of people are thinking that Danny left him. I don't think that's the case at all. I think that with Top Rank leaving HBO, it freed up a lot of money on HBO. And now I think Heyman sees a door over there saying, I need to get some of my fighters over there and get them paid and get them on that network. And I think it really made a lot of sense for Danny Jacobs to go there. It was announced that he'll return November 11th in Long Island. Word on the curb is he's going to face Luis Arias, who is a Rock Nation fighter. And what do you think about this deal? What do you think about Eddie Hearn invading the U.S. and Danny Jacobs being the first guy to do it, to get a promoter?
Here's the most telling statement that I got, and this is from Danny Jacobs, because it's supposed to be all about the boxers always. I'm with the family. I'm back with HBO. That was a quote he gave when asked about signing with Eddie Hearn. This is the guy who got his career start basically in HBO, because Golden Boy still had a great relationship with HBO when he first entered the pro ranks. He feels like this is where his career is going to get the maximum exposure. It's where he got his biggest payday when he fought Gennady Golovkin. And now with this move, he has a chance to fight all these middleweights that he's not necessarily going to get all the time if he just stays isolated with the PBC. I love the fact that he's still with Al Heyman and that Al is allowing him to shop for the best deal. I hope it happens with the other fighters, especially Errol Spence, Steve Thurman, Danny Garcia, Deontay Wilder, any boxer who's not necessarily tied to a promoter. And I know a lot of these promoters are claiming they have these fighters. And the one thing I will say, everyone wants to wave the surrender flag for PBC. It's like, oh, Eddie Hearn's got Daniel Jacobs. PBC is going under. Who else are they going to grab? Let's just celebrate the move. But with the promoters involved in PBC, if you say you got a guy, you better make damn sure that you have him on paper. Because Eddie Hearn is planning to set up shop in New York, and he's going to do the same thing Jay-Z did when he first entered the pro ranks, the promotional ranks. He was looking for guys that didn't have promotional contracts. He went after. He went after Wilder. He went after Steve Thurman. Handing over bags of cash, willing to make them life-changing money. And they all said, no, we're going to stick with Al. But they had to get that guarantee from Al that they were going to make that type of money. Eddie Hearn has the plunge. Everything he's touched has turned to gold in the UK. There's a boxing boom in the UK, but he's honestly the only promoter that's getting it done. Because Frank Warren and Mick Hennessy, their shows aren't major events like Eddie Hearn. I mean, Eddie had Martin Murray and Gabe Rosado. Russell and I were talking about this the other night, RB, while you get yourself the game on. We talk, how the hell does that fight become a 15,000-seat event? 15,000 fans attended Martin Murray versus Gabe Rosado. Eddie Hearn is one of the few promoters in the world that can pull off something like that. And he's looking to bring that magic to the United States. I'd like to think that he's properly assessed everything before he's coming over here, not just that he thinks he can set up shot and get everything done. I have all the faith in Eddie Hearn getting it done. What I want to see is that other promoters start to raise their game, not get comfortable, not say, okay, 2017 is a good year, we don't have to do very much. Keep getting better. Competition is always a good thing, and I think that's what Eddie Hearn is bringing to the U.S. And I love the fact that his fighters are finally going to be properly showcased on HBO, whether it's going to be in the UK or whether they come over here. Because let's face it, Anthony Joshua, yes, he's a blockbuster star in the UK. He could just as easily become that blockbuster star in the U.S. as well. Can you imagine Anthony Joshua in New York? Jay, I know you can imagine Anthony Joshua in L.A. I heard you practicing your I do when you heard this news.
Man, come on now. If Anthony Joshua fights anywhere within the continental United States, I'm packing it in and I'm going. I'm just putting that on out there now. It is what it is.
Like it's right, but with now whether Eddie Hearn has a fight in the UK or the US, that's great news for the rest of boxing, because if he could turn Anthony Joshua into a global star, make him a superstar in the United States, guess what? Deontay Wilder doesn't necessarily have to go to the United Kingdom to fight him. They could fight in New York. He was shopping T-Mobile Arena. He wanted Anthony Joshua to fight there in November. So that fight could now happen in the United States and become a major event, not just be, what boxing tends to give far too often. So I love this deal. I can't wait for Eddie's fighters to be a part of HBO. I can't wait for Eddie just to be, a regular in the U.S. media and in the spotlight. It's tremendous for boxing. That's
right.
News.
Well, Eddie Hearn did say that Matchroom will look to do 4 to 6 shows a year in the U.S. And here's what I got to say. I want to give big ups to Danny Jacobs because I think that he realized that he needed a promoter and, you know, he needed a network. It's great that you have a powerful manager, but sometimes you need a little more than that. And some guys really don't mind fighting once or twice a year. They're happy with it. They're making good money. But then you have other fighters that they want to be active. They want to be great. They want Hall of Fame careers. You know, it's not okay to fight once or twice a year. And I think Danny Jacobs is going to be the first guy to be the trendsetter and the trailblazer. I don't think this is over. I think we're going to see other guys in the PBC looking for the same type of opportunities.
No, I agree. And that's why I mentioned Errol Spence. I mean, you know, but, you know, Keith Thurman is probably one of those guys. He's comfortable with his situation, and God bless him. If that's what makes him happy, that's fine. But Errol Spence is a guy who's been, ever since he knocked out Phil Brooks, when's my next fight? When's my next fight? Yes, he wants to fight. He doesn't care if it's in Dallas. He wants to fight again. He wants to fight more than once or twice a year. I have a feeling he's going to be the next guy. Maybe not signing with Eddie, but he's going to realize I need a firm promoter behind me to, you know, take my career to the next level.
Well, and I do think, yeah, but you know what? I think that Al Heyman is very strategic with all this. I think that his guys that do need promoters, I think he will pass them off to Eddie Hearn because they have a working relationship. He trusts Eddie. You know, they work together well. I don't think he's going to say, hey, Earl Spence, I think Top Rank is a good fit for you. No, I think he's going to say, hey, you know what? Eddie Hearn's coming to the U.S. Let's get you with Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, and here's one more thing I want to say with Eddie. I know we're pressed for time, I'm sorry, but let me say this. All these promoters within PBC that have been kissing Al's ass or the only time they speak about him is off the record, Eddie Hearn has actually been one of the few promoters who has been very vocal about the way Al is doing things, but yet still doing business with him when the opportunity best suits his fighters. You know, Patsy Duva is another one. She's never shied away from her opinion, but she does business with Al when, when her fighters need it. So, I mean, that says a lot about how much Al respects Eddie. Maybe he doesn't want to hear what he has to say, but he's damn sure going to respect his opinion because Steve Eddie is getting the job done. So other PBC promoters, if you see something wrong with the way, the guys they're involved with, if you don't like it, maybe it's time you speak up as well and earn that respect instead of just being a lackey.
The last thing I'm going to say is Canelo is 27 years old and Earl Spence is 27 years old. When you look at star power and money and things like that, more needs to be done for Earl Spence. He is that special. He can be that major. He just needs that extra push. But anyway, Jake, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Always very insightful. Everyone loves Jake's take. Make it a great Monday. Make it a great week. And we will talk to you a little later.
All right. Thank you very much, RB and Jae. Always a pleasure.
All right.
John Francis Agency is comprised of dedicated insurance professionals who manage risk, protect wealth, and cater to clients' personal and business needs. We offer disability coverage for boxers as well as life and liability insurance. Career-ending injury insurance along with illness insurance is also offered through our agency. For more information, please visit us online at johnfrancisagency.com or call us today at 732-497-9624. John Francis Agency, our daily grind is protecting your wealth. Any vehicle, any age, any mileage. With Nationwide Auto Warranties, you will stop paying unexpected costly repair bills and let an extended auto warranty pay. Go to nationwideautowarranties.com for an instant email quote or call 1-866-352-4999 for a free, no-obligation phone quote. So stop paying and let Nationwide Auto Warranties get you your coverage today. Again, that number is 1-866-352-4999 or visit nationwideautowarranties.com.
All right, we want to play some Know It or Blow It. We have a boxing glove here signed by Mike Tyson, brought to you by the BoxingInsider.com. Let's take it to the switchboard, Jay. Let's pick up a player. Uh-oh. Hello? Jay, are we there?
Uh-oh. We had a player. Yes, we have somebody. I was muted. Sorry. Billie Jean started wilding. Yes, we do have somebody in the switchboard. 909. If you just called in, I picked up your call and you hung up. So we'll go to the next person. I see 562 to 626 773. You have to press 1 for me to pick you up. I won't pick you up unless you press 1 because I don't want to catch you off guard. We'll go to
and
the
this question
504.
today is actually pretty easy.
Come on,
Our
somebody got to win.
question is kind of easy.
Wow. Okay, Callie is up with us this morning. Let's do the 562. 562, who is this and where are you calling from?
Diego from Paramount. The Amir Khan of Know It or Blow It.
Get knocked
third
out
time's
every
the charm,
week.
I'm hoping. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to give it a shot.
All right,
Okay, we'll see how it goes.
Let's give him 10 seconds on the clock, Jay. Here we go. Name us one current world champion from Ohio. One current world champion from Ohio. Go.
Damn. Well, I know Sean Porter. He's not a champion.
He's
Broner,
not a current
not
champ.
a champion. Broner's not a champion anymore.
He likes to dance. You're getting closer.
I can't think of any from Ohio. It's just those two boxers. That's the only two that I know that are from Ohio.
I gave you a hint.
Damn.
He's also you were close when you said Broner, but not quite. You'll think about it afterwards and go, damn it, Robert Easter.
Robert Easter.
Well, see, I didn't know he was from Ohio. Yeah.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
He's from Toledo, Ohio. Fan camp.
Oh, okay.
And actually, Rashid Warren is a champ again. I think he beat Payano in the rematch, so there could have been him too. But all right, Diego, thanks for calling in. Thanks for playing again.
I thought you said ex-champion. That's why I said Broner and Porter. I thought you said
no,
ex-champion.
former champion. No. Current champion. All right, have a good day, Diego.
All right, take care, ladies.
Poor guy. He got to try it again. He's gonna get it together. It's gonna happen for him one of these days.
Well, Jay, I'm still looking for Jesse Hart. Hopefully he's going to remember to call us. I'm hitting him up. Why don't you go ahead and dish some in case you missed it news. I know this is going to help me too because I was out of it last week, but fill us in with some in case you missed it.
Yes. In case you missed it, topics for last week because there was a lot of boxing going on. There was a story that surfaced. We'll start with the Charlos this morning since middleweights are all the rage these days. There was a report on TMZ that Young Money Sports, Young Money, of course, is Lil Wayne, had signed Jermell Charlo to be part of their banner athletes. He has in turn gone on and posted the article on his Instagram account saying that, don't believe everything you read. I'm OHB Sports Lions only for life. I guess they didn't have any other news to post, so they made some shit up. And if you don't know, OHB Sports is run by Chris Brown, and we know we've seen Chris Brown at fights. I saw him here in L.A. when Charlo fought in L.A., so no Lil Wayne and Charlo collaboration, so I'm sorry if that breaks your heart. Also, and in case you missed it, topics, Badu Jack successfully defended the WBA title with a dominating victory over Nathan Cleverly and then turned around and vacated the WBA title. Apparently it was part of his deal to fight Cleverly, and it's possible we could see a Badu Jack versus Adonis Stevenson fight on Showtime in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. Also, in case you missed it, Jesus Soto Caras, he's got another fight. I know you guys in SoCal love some Soto Caras. He'll be fighting Juan Carlos Abreu on November 2nd on ESPN. Of course, the big news this week, Andre Ward got up one morning and said, you know what, it's a wrap, and retired. Andre Ward has announced his retirement from boxing. That was like the bomb. That was a big shocker.
Let's spend a minute on Andre Ward's retirement because it really did come out of nowhere. And he just said, I want to spend time with my family. I'm healthy. I still got my marbles together. I want to really get into this broadcasting thing. And if you don't have the desire to be in the ring anymore, you shouldn't get in there. Hey, that was very mature of him. Tim Bradley made that decision as well this year. He's, saying the same thing. Look, I want to get into broadcasting. I'm healthy. I want to walk away healthy. But it was a shocker. Who was expecting that?
Yeah. I know I wasn't. I was up early watching sports. I had it on ESPN, and I saw something at the bottom. I saw Andre Ward on the TV, and I could see the banner, but I was far away, and I couldn't figure out what could be happening. I thought it was going to say he got another promoter, but anyway. I got closer to the TV and saw he retired, was like, what? Just out of nowhere. Never would have predicted that. Very surprising.
Said many times on our show here that Andre Ward would only finally get the respect he deserves when he retired and when he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Whether you love him, you hate him, you don't like his style, or whatever the case may be, I think now that he's gone, we're going to appreciate his ring mastery. You know, I think when he goes into the Hall of Fame, we're going to realize just how special he was. But it's just kind of hard for people to admit that today for personal reasons or because of whatever happened in the courtroom. You know, that's not our business. I'm talking about what he did in the ring. He was extremely special in the ring. Anyway, Jay, continue on. Just wanted to spend a minute on Andre Ward.
I know. That's a whole nother show, you know. But, hey, we've debated enough on Twitter about it. We'll let it go. Also, and in case you missed it news, Derek Chisora has also signed with Matchroom Boxing. So Eddie Hearn has a lot of big boys he can shuffle around there. Chisora, if I'm not mistaken, is a heavyweight. And so he has somebody in the mix if he doesn't want to bring any title fights over here to the U.S. If he essentially wanted to freeze Deontay Wilder out, he could round table Robin. He's got a lot of heavyweights he could keep in the mix for Anthony Joshua to keep him active. So that's some interesting, in case you missed it, news for Matchroom and Derek Chisora. Also, this past week, the legend, the Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta, passed away at the age of 95. So rest in peace. There have been lots of great tributes. Go online and check them out. Also announcing, in case you missed it, news, Gabe Rosado versus Glenn Tapia formally announced. They'll be fighting at the Monte Carlo in Las Vegas. Also, Carl Frampton has signed with Frank Warren. We asked Eddie Hearn about wanting to get back with Carl Frampton when he was here in L.A. this week. He said he would have loved to have gotten back in with Carl Frampton, and we asked him if he would get in the mix to kind of derail a Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Maris rematch and try to get the trilogy with Santa Cruz Frampton. He kind of gave us that that probably would have been the plan. But he goes with Frank Warren. Also, Castaño still hasn't been paid for his win over Michelle Sorrow. Boxing Scene has reported legal action is looming. Why hasn't this man been paid? What the hell? When was that fight?
Oh, my God.
Why have they not paid him? That is disgusting.
I have no idea.
Also, last couple of topics. Gervonta Tank Davis is facing first-degree aggravated assault charges. Mr. AB 3.0 lost his belt on the scale, now been arrested. It's a slippery slope, and hopefully this will be the wake-up call he needs to get it all the way back together.
You know, let's spend a minute on Tank, because I used to joke around about him having Broner attributes. And they're clearly showing. I mean, from the way he's so flashy on his social media, the way he talks. But, you know, he put up a post yesterday on Instagram, and he goes, you know, everybody's focusing on the bad, but, you know, I'm doing stuff in the community. I've got billboards in Baltimore. I'm donating blankets to the homeless in the winter. So he tried to really spin it, and I think his PR did a really good job with that yesterday. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, you lost your belt on the scale, which is inexcusable, and now you're being arrested for aggravated assault. And we don't know the whole story, what happened, how it happened, but things need to get better for Tank.
Yeah, they do. A lot of talent potentially going to waste, you know. Here's sending you some good vibes, brother. And finally, and in case you missed it, news, where the hell is Canelo Triple G pay-per-view vibes at? Where the Mayweather-McGregor pay-per-view vibes at? Where the pay-per-view vibes yet? Usually we get a whole diatribe and think pieces on pay-per-view vibes by now. Where that, though?
Yeah.
So, no release on that. And that's all I
All right. Well, why don't we take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with Word on the Curb and wrap up with the weekend fight schedule.
Yes.
Are you an elite athlete looking to take your training to an elite level? Then Porter High Performance Center in Las Vegas is your #1 spot. Our private training facility offers you high-altitude chambers, a boxing ring with telestrators, cryogenics tubs, helix machines, a multi-purpose weight machine, and more. Come and train like an elite champion with us at Porter High Performance Center. For more information, contact us on social media at Porter High Performance and through former world champion at Showtime Sean P. Are you an entrepreneur looking to find out where to start or develop a business plan? Are you looking to start a business or grow your business revenue? Are you a business owner that needs fresh new ideas or needs to solve challenges with strategy, marketing, or process? Red Beach Advisors is a management consulting group focused on helping entrepreneurs, startups, and companies build, grow, and scale. Contact Red Beach Advisors at info@redbeachadvisors.com or 424-247-6143. Red Beach Advisors helps companies build, grow, and scale through strategy, process, systems, and people. We are the experts. Contact us at 424-247-6143 or www.redbeachadvisors.com. WBC World Boxing Cares is a non-profit charitable organization composed of compassionate volunteers under the guidance of the WBC. By sending world-class athletes into youth centers, hospitals, and orphanages, we bring a message of hope and inspiration to the children and their families, as well as donations appropriate for that particular institution and or event. World Boxing Cares is active in 164 countries under the WBC sanctioning umbrella. Look us up online at worldboxingcares.com and connect with us today. Big champions supporting little champions.
All right, I'm going to dish the word on the curb now. So listen up, listen up. I don't got a bunch this week, but what I've got is good. So here we go. Errol Spence. He was supposed to return, I believe it was like September, and then it got pushed into November. And the latest we were hearing was December. So now word on the curb is he may not be back until January. So not sure if we're going to get to see Errol Spence in 2017, but they're saying early 2018 is what it looks to be. I kind of sound a little sad saying that, right? Because I really do like the kid, and I really want to see him more. And it's like things are getting pushed back. And I don't really think it's anybody's fault necessarily because, first of all, you got to find somebody who's going to want to fight this guy. That's not going to be an easy task. You know, word on the curb a couple weeks ago was that it was going to be Luis, oh, God, what's his name? Jay? No. Come on. The guy who fought out Mayweather and told him to come to New York.
I know. Oh, man. Collazo?
Luis Collazo. Thank you, Jay. Brain fart. Luis Collazo was the last that I heard. Who knows what type of money these opponents are going to start asking for. So it's going to be really hard to match Errol Spence moving forward as well. But anyway, that's the word that he's going to come back early next year. We're probably not going to see him this year. That sucks. Some more word on the curb. Manny Pacquiao isn't really feeling the rematch with Jeff Hearn anytime soon. He's not feeling it. So word on the curb is that Terrence Crawford might be stepping up to fight Jeff Hearn. Girl, I can't get it together. Terrence Crawford may be fighting Jeff Hearn in early 2018. Manny just ain't feeling it. And he wants to go to the Philippines and, you know, all this other stuff. And you know Terrence, he's like, where do I got to be? What country I got to be in? What state? What time I got to show up? Anywhere, anytime, any day, Crawford's going to fight. So it looks like they're going to be making Crawford Hearn in early 2018. And that is all the word on the curb I got today, Jay.
Interesting stuff. I'm interested to see where they would put that fight, if they'll have Hearn come over or have Terrence go over there. But we'll keep an eye on it. So anyway, let's close it out for this Monday with the weekend fight schedule. On the 26th, which is tomorrow, Tuesday, Toe-to-Toe Tuesday, from Las Vegas, PVC on Fox Sports 1, Edward Ramirez versus Ludwig Bartholomew. And in the co-feature, Alejandro Salinas versus Dwayne Dude. So look for that tomorrow on the 28th on CBS Sportsnet from Louisville, Kentucky. We've got Toka Khan Clary versus Braulio Rodriguez with Duke Micah versus Mario Diaz in the co-main event. And then on the 30th from Boston on ESPN Deportes, we have Gary Spike O'Sullivan versus Nick Quigley and Raquel Delay versus Darden Zunanaj in the co-featured event. So that is the weekend fight schedule. A little bit lighter. Still lots of fights, but no big-name fights this weekend, but still good fights to be watched all the same. Back to you, RB.
All right. I'm just hearing about O'Sullivan quickly. That one kind of came out of nowhere. So thanks for filling me in on that one. But we're going to go ahead and close out the show. Today's show is brought to you by the BoxingInsider.com, John Francis Agency. If you are a fighter or a manager or a promoter and you have fighters that need health insurance, wealth protection, disability, please contact John Francis Agency and protect these fighters. You just never know, and you don't want to be a burden. I had to get that out there because it's so important. Also, the show is brought to you today by Porter High Performance Center, Nationwide Auto Warranties.com, Champs Boxing, War Tape Brand, Bernie's Boxing, Red Beach Advisors, and the WBC Cares. Make sure you visit badculture.net, rageandbabe.com. We appreciate you for listening today, and thank you, Jay, for always being so amazing. Catch us here every Monday from 8 to 9. It's the Morning Punch-In Show. Have a good one.